Okay, welcome back. This is SQL Server. In this module, I'm going to show you how to create a backup device and how to backup a database. Okay, let me explain you. There are different ways of backing up, and there are different ways of the database recovery. Okay, I'm going to just actually give you a outline description. Then you can actually walk on your own and find out more of the details into the how to backup and what type of backup you need for your organization. Okay, let's start with the creating a backup device. In the server objects, there is an option that says create backup device. Okay, click on the right and say new backup device. It will actually ask you the location of the backup device. You can select it upon the tab or whatever device you want. I'm going to select it on the hard disk only. There is a screen that I jumped up for the backup. Okay, it's telling what file or tape is actually disabled the radio button because there are no devices right now connected to the computer. Okay, so I will leave it as it is and I will back up this thing on the hard disk. Okay, and I will back it to the file. Okay, let's wait for some time till it actually opens up the directory. Okay, there we are. I'm going to check the E drive, and it is asking me the file name below. I'm going to put the name pubs backup. Okay, I just created a device pub backup and I'm going to click OK. Okay, and the device name is pubs device. Okay, click OK, and we have created the device for the backup. And there you can see in the below the pubs and the backup devices in the server object there is a pub devices that has been created. Okay, now let's create a backup. Right click the database pubs, and in the task there is a option known as backup. Before we go to this thing, okay, let's go to the right click on the pubs database, go to the properties. Okay, go to the options in the properties pages. Okay, now there is a option on the recovery model. There's a full. Okay, right click, see, and there's a bulk locked and simple. Usually we are going to use the full. Okay, in the full what happens is that once you create a full backup, okay, what it does, it actually logs every data that you actually use by select into clause. Okay, if you use a bulk locked, it will actually log in the data for the select into clause, but it will be very limited. Okay, it's better to have a full backup, but it takes a lot of time compared to the bulk locked recovery plan. Okay, the recovery model should be always full. Simple is never used in most any organization. Okay, in most cases people use the full the recovery model. Okay, until and unless some organization may be using the bulk locked. Okay, this is very important. If that recovery model has not been actually selected, actually check it to the full and click OK. Now let's go and click the task, right click the button and say backup. Okay, okay, there we are. It already showing me the backup type is full, recovery model is full. Okay, now what is full backup? Differential and transaction log. There are three types of backup. The first backup is full backup. Always in the first time you have to create the full backup. Okay, differential is the backup. When you create a differential backup, it is always the difference between the full backup and the next one. Okay, remember always when whatever differential backup you will be creating, it will be always be a difference between the last full backup and the current database. Okay, whatever the current database, wherever it is. Okay, the differences between both of the time. Okay, whatever that database has been whatever data has been collected in between that time. Okay, that is actually what differential backup will take. Transaction log is actually that you keep on actually taking every now and then. Okay, The difference between these two is, okay, if you are taking the full backup and you are going to take a transaction, why do you need a transaction log backup? Because transaction log backups are very small. They keep up to the lost actually record of your transaction. Okay, and the thing is that once you take a transaction log backup, the transaction whatever the backup has been taken is get truncated from the log. Okay, and the next part of the transaction is from where the next transaction log backup would start. Now suppose if you took a backup, a full backup on Monday, okay, and then you took a transaction log backup on the Monday at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, every hour. Now if you wanted to recover at 1 o'clock, your database goes down, and suppose if you wanted to recover the database, you have to restore the database firstly from the full, then at whatever all the transaction log one by one, you actually backed it up. You cannot just go and take up the lost transaction log and try to restore the database. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Okay, but if you had taken a full database on the Monday, and then you took a differential backup on the Tuesday, okay, and then on a Wednesday, okay, and on a Thursday you were also taking the transaction log backups, okay, on a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Okay, now what happens is on the Thursday at 1 o'clock, so around 12 o'clock your database, or 12:30 your database crashes. Okay, so what you can do is that you can take the full backup, restore from the full backup, then restore from the lost differential backup, and then apply the transaction log. You need not apply all the differential backup after the full backup. The only differential backup that is needed is the lost one, and from there onwards you need all the transaction log in the sequence whatever you have backed up. This is very simple. You just have to remember the difference between a differential and transaction log. Transaction log, you needed all the transaction log you need backup to restore the database from the lost differential or lost full backup, whichever you have taken it lost. Okay, otherwise your data won't get restored. Okay, this is how actually the backup works. Okay, select the full. Now as you know, the name is already given. Okay, I can add a device. You can change the name to whatever you want. So okay, this is the window that comes up. Okay, there is a file name. Actually you can always select a file name. Because I have created a backup device, I will select the backup devices. You can actually pull down this arrow and see the other backup devices also available to you. Okay, but there aren't any because we have just created one. I'm going to click OK. Okay, and I'm going to say OK. There are other options here available. I will not discuss those things right now here. Okay, so let's go and select OK. Okay, and the database has been backed up. Okay, completely successfully, and when we are back here. Okay, the database has been backed up. Let's go to the pub database. Okay, let's take a tables. I'm going to create a new table. Okay, and then I'm going to take a differential backup. Now the differential backup would actually have just a new table. That is what I have added recently. Okay, that table only would be added to the differential backup. Okay, even if I took a transaction log backup, it would add the same thing. Okay, once I have taken the full backup, only the differential backup would add the loss that has changes taken place. Okay, two field added just as a demo because I have just added two fields. Both is allow null. Okay, usually the primary key, if it was this cust ID was the primary key, it would never allow the null. Okay, and I'm going to close this thing, and this table is going to ask me the name. Okay, and it says save changes to the DVO table. I have said yes. Okay, it will ask me the name. I'll say cust demo. Okay, and there we are done. We have added the one more table. We have to refresh the tables to get our name here. The name has been added. Take a differential backup. Okay, so right click. Okay, you cannot take a differential backup until and unless you are taking the full backup. Remember that thing, neither can you take a transaction log backup. Okay, task backup. From this option you click the differential. Okay, and I can actually take the differential backup on the same device, or I can take it on some other device. Okay, depending upon what I want to do with it. Okay, now if I select OK, backed up to the same device. Okay, and we have a full backup of the, usually it would be always on a different device. Remember that thing, you don't take it on the same device, you don't take it on the same space of the hard disk. Usually this was the device I had created, it took it on the same, because this is just a demo. Okay, that's it. Restore would be taken up in the next part.